Hello and welcome everyone to our latest presentation on interpretation of CT scan of the lungs. This is part 6, linear opacities. Now coming to types of linear opacities, the most common is the septal lines, followed by interlobular lines, interlobular reticular pattern, centrilobular branching lines, subpleural interstitial thickening, proximal peribronchovascular interstitial thickening, irregular linear opacities and parenchymal bands, and finally honeycombing pattern. So coming first to septal lines, the development of septal lines can be related to the presence of an interstitial lung disease, the disease in and around lymphatics, venous congestion, airspace disease predominantly located in the periphery of the secondary pulmonary lobule, the perilobular location. Smooth septal thickening is often seen in association with ground glass opacities, creating what is called a crazy paving pattern. Irregular septal thickening may indicate the development of fibrosis. So here we can see that septal lines can be caused by thickening of the interlobular septa. Here you can see that this is the interlobular septa. If this gets thickened, it will give an appearance of septal lines. Or it can be disease which is in or around the lymphatics, or if there is some venous congestion. Finally, if there is some material that is getting deposited along this septum. Now this CT is showing septal lines in interstitial amyloidosis. Here you can see there are a lot of septal lines. This is a case of interstitial amyloidosis. So there is deposition of material along these septal lines. The next is lymphangitic spread of tumor. Here you can see there are a lot of septal lines. Here the tumor is spreading along the lymphatics. Also note there are pulmonary mets to corroborate your finding. So the common causes of lymphangitic spread are the spread of tumor, lymphoproliferative disease, sarcoidosis, increased lymphatic flow, silicosis or cold workers pneumoconiosis. Interstitial diseases are mostly the interstitial lung disease, IPF, non-specific interstitial pneumonia, asbestosis, amyloidosis, finally pneumonia. Now, venous lesions could be because of hydrostatic pulmonary edema or central venous pulmonary obstruction. Next is interlobular lines. The development of interlobular reticular pattern is predominantly related to, again, interstitial lung disease, airspace disease predominantly located in the periphery of the SNI. Interlobular reticular pattern may be seen in association with ground glassing, again creating what is called a crazy paving pattern. When fibrosis is present, very small honeycomb cysts measuring 1 millimeter in diameter can become visible. So here we see there is connective tissue septa thickening. These are the thickenings which are being highlighted. These are the septal lines which we had seen in the previous case. This is the connective tissue interstitial lines. This is deposits. This is peribronchial lines. This is perilymphatic lines. This is involvement of small vessels, and this is involvement of arteries. All of these can give rise to interlobular lines. So coming first, this is a case of viral pneumonia. Here you can see the interlobular lines. This is a case of crazy paving, as you can see, there is a lot of septal lines, interlobular lines with ground glassing, with extensive ground glassing, giving an appearance of a crazy pavement. And finally, this is interstitial fibrosis. Here you can see that there are distortion giving an appearance of fibrosis. So coming next to centrilobular lines, the development of centrilobular branching lines is predominantly related to thickening of the distal peribronchovascular interstitium, disease in and around the centrilobular lymphatics, disease affecting the centrilobular bronchioles and arterioles. Centrilobular branching lines caused by bronchiolar disease is mostly associated with presence of centrilobular nodules, giving an appearance of tree in bud pattern. This has been discussed in the previous video. When fibrosis is present, the interlobular bronchioles can become visible because of the bronchiectasis. Here in this image, what we see is branching lines, which we can see over here. There are a lot of branching lines. This is the secondary lobule. Inside, you can see that there are branching lines. This is lymphangitic spread of tumor. In this, apart from the septal lines, inside also in the center you can see there are lines, which is because of the interstitial amyloidosis. Coming next to subpleural thickening. These are mostly below the pleura, and they are a result of an interstitial lung disease or a disease in or around the lymphangitis. Here we see interstitial subpleural thickening seen in idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and here you can see there is a multiple honeycombing with small cysts inside. Now this again is similar subpleural. Here you can see the lines, there is tumor spread along the lymphatics. Next, coming to the proximal peribronchovascular interstitial thickening. This is predominantly caused by, again, interstitial lung disease. This is in and around the lymphatics. Bronchial wall thickening and vascular dilatation can mimic peribronchovascular interstitial thickening. This is the interstitial peribronchovascular interstitium involvement, and this is the lymphangitis involvement. Now coming next is the irregular linear opacities and parenchymal bands. This is mostly caused by asbestosis related lung and pleural disease with a basal predominance, sarcoidosis, silicosis and Coleworkers pneumoconiosis, tuberculosis scarring, and organizing pneumonia. These are the 5 most important causes of totally irregular opacities with no specific pattern or parenchymal bands. Here you can see that this is a parenchymal band. Here also, this also is showing a parenchymal band. So these are the examples of parenchymal bands. Lastly, coming to honeycombing, the most common is UIP pattern with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, asbestosis, hypersensitive pneumonitis. The uncommon ones are sarcoidosis, NSIP, acute interstitial pneumonia, discomative interstitial pneumonia, and organizing pneumonia. Now this is what is called the honeycombing pattern with multiple linear opacities and central cysts. So there is extensive honeycombing. This is a case of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Thank you for your patience and check our website for further information.